What's up, guys? It's your boy Killer Cam, and these are my 2020 Royal Rumble predictions. Hope you guys enjoy. So first up, the United States Championship match. Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo. Carrillo came back on Monday Night Raw to the aid of Rey Mysterio. This should be an interesting matchup. I do feel like Andrade is gonna win. I don't see Carrillo winning just yet, but this should definitely be an interesting matchup going forward. I really do think that these two guys are going to end up putting on a show. You know, Carrillo had been out for a month, and Andrade was a reason behind that. And I just think that with Carrillo and Andrade putting on a good match here, I do think that it's going to open up the card right. I don't know if this is the kickoff match or what the deal with it is yet. It has not been announced. But I don't see a title change here. To keep Humberto safe, you know, they'll probably have Andrade get counted out or get disqualified. But, you know, they've been having a build-up between these two guys, and the Rumble is the best place for them to do that blow off. And I think that it is the best idea for them personally to do it like that. And to be honest with you, I think that this right here is the right call. Keep the title on Andrade. You know, Zelina Vega might have a way of interfering and costing Humberto Carrillo the match. But you never know. You never know in a situation like this. But if you don't know my prediction, I am gonna go with Andrade. I just think I think it's too soon for them to switch the title, and I think they're building towards a match with these guys at WrestleMania. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. Next up, the Smackdown Women's Championship match between Bayley and Lacey Evans. Real quick, I love the way they've been building up Lacey. As this everyman, you know, her being in the military and everything. I love the way they have been building up Lacey Evans. That being said, however, I feel as if Bayley is going to win this match, and she is going to retain her title. I don't see a point in the title switch at this point. I really don't. I do not think it would be a good idea. If anything, you could kind of make the argument that Bayley wins and then Sasha wins the Rumble, that they set up an angle from there. But I would like to see Lacey with the championship sometime this year. I love how, you know, the whole Sassy Southern Belle thing is going on, and then you've still got everything else that has been, you know, going on with that, you know, and it looks good. You know, they got in a brawl this past week on SmackDown. You know, Sasha got a bunch of heel heat from Lacey, and from doing everything that she did, you know, making a crybaby face at Lacey's daughter. You know, they're really looking good, and I'm loving this Bayley heel and the Lacey face dynamic. You know, you'd have thought it was the other way around, but I really think Bayley's going to win this match, or they're going to do like a screwy finish to where it makes Lacey look strong, but Bayley winning. Like I said, I don't see Lacey winning the championship. I don't. I do not see the point of them moving the title. Anyway, my prediction is Bayley, and it should be an overall good match. So we should see what happens. It ought to be a good one. Alright, and now we're going to get into the next match, which is Sheamus versus Shorty G. Now this match has been built because Sheamus recently came back, and Shorty G, you know, they've done a good job of trying to make him look as a valuable opponent to Sheamus and look like a strong guy, but I really don't see this being Shorty G's night. I really do see Sheamus winning this match, and I do feel like it'll be a squash. I really do. I feel like this match may be under 10 minutes or a little bit over 5, but under 10. And I just think that WWE is building towards, a big push for Sheamus. He's not scheduled for the Rumble. Doesn't mean he's necessarily not going to be in it, but we have 27 entrants that we know. But I see Sheamus definitely winning this match, and definitely, in convincing fashion too. I mean, there's no reason you wouldn't give Sheamus the win here. Shorty G, hasn't really done anything to convince me of the win otherwise, and they obviously seem to be trying to make a star in Sheamus, and I just think that this is going to be the match for Sheamus. I just, there's no other reason why. So my pick is gonna be the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. And the next match we get into is, we're going to get into Roman Reigns versus King Corbin in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Now, this match is going to be interesting to me because they're at Minute Maid Park, meaning that they're going to be able to have a couple spots here and there that they're going to be able to do over the park. There's been talks that, hey, he could pin him on first base. He could do this, do that. Now, I do feel like this match might be before the Men's Rumble. They'll probably do the Women's Rumble, then this match. I don't know how they're going to do the structure of the card. But this match, to me, you're probably going to have the Usos interfere. You're probably going to have Dolph and Robert Roode interfere. I'm going to go Roman. I do feel like Roman wins this match. Or if Roman wins this match, I feel like he won't win the Rumble. But if Corbin wins this match, there's a good chance that Roman wins the Rumble. And at this point, and I'll get to that when I get to the Rumble predictions, but Roman's going to win this match, I think. I think that they're kind of building, and Roman needs that signature win. He beat McIntyre back at Mania, but he really has not had a run with any championship or anything since his spout with leukemia. He's just been a mid-carder, and it's surprising to me that Roman has just been like that. It really is surprising to me. I did not expect it. It was not supposed to, I guess, go down like that. Roman was never supposed to have leukemia, but that is a different story, and I'm getting off track. Like I said, this is going to be a good match. They're going to use a lot of spots and a lot of different things here and there to tell a great story. And ultimately, in the end, whether it be King Corbin or whether it be Roman Reigns, this match is going to be pretty good. With that being said, though, my pick is the big dog, Roman Reigns. I just don't see it going any other way. So now we're going to move on to the next matchup, which is Asuka versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Pretty interesting. These guys got some history. They actually wrestled at the Royal Rumble match last year, with Asuka making Becky tap out. Of course, Becky would go on to win the Women's Rumble. I'm wondering if Asuka is going to be in the Women's Rumble, because we don't know a lot of people that are, so it should be pretty interesting to find out who all is going to be in the Women's Rumble match. That being said here, Asuka could win, but I don't really see it, because, they've been playing up the big fact that, hey, Becky has never beaten Asuka. She's never been able to defeat Asuka, and they've really been playing that in. Hey, Becky can't beat Asuka. Becky can't beat Asuka, so I think Becky wins here. I think that it is the most logical decision that you can make, is to make Becky Lynch win this match. If Becky doesn't win, I'll be very, very surprised, just like I think the rest of the community will be. I really do feel like Becky Lynch this is going to be her match. And she is going to face whoever the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble may be. Now, this is going to be a good match. Last year, these two ladies tore the house down at the Royal Rumble, and I expect nothing less from them this year. It's going to be a fantastic match between these two, unless they go out and they end up botching something, or they go out and end up doing a whole big spiel or a whole big different thing. I mean, I don't see how this match could be bad. I really don't. If anything, this match might be match of the night. Could very well be a match of the night candidate. And, it's like I said, my pick is gonna be Becky Lynch. Because, I mean, it's painfully obvious, she's never beaten Asuka, in a one-on-one capacity. So, if you don't think it's going to be Becky, then there's a bit of an issue there, But Becky Lynch is going to ultimately take this match and is going to be able to use this momentum to build towards WrestleMania. So now we got the Fiend Bray Wyatt defending his Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan. This is a strap match that Daniel Bryan said he's wanted. I've loved the way that they build this up. Cain was on Smackdown the other week, and Daniel Bryan tore a piece of the Fiend's hair out, which is really, really interesting to me how they did that. And then they did this past week with the contract signing, where the Fiend signed it in blood and attacked Daniel Bryan with the strap. I think it is going to be interesting. I don't know if they're going to do the pinfall thing or they're going to do the four corners, but regardless, the Fiend's going to win this match. I could see Daniel maybe, but the Fiend has so much momentum. There's no way the Fiend is losing this match. I mean, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, these guys both do have history together. And it's amazing the history that they have. They wrestled a couple years back on the Royal Rumble to open up the show. And the Universal Championship is now on the line. So one of the most prestigious titles. I'm going to go Fiend. There's no other way to go except the Fiend. Daniel's been fighting really good, but that's my only question though, is if Daniel does lose to the Fiend, I'm interested to see what his road to WrestleMania is going to be. Whether it's going to be him continuing the feud with the Fiend, or if the Fiend is going to fight somebody else, or what the deal with it is. I know they still got a Saudi show and an Elimination Chamber before WrestleMania, which is very, very intriguing and interesting to me, how they're going to go about the build to WrestleMania. And it's going to be a good one. This is going to be a good match. These guys have phenomenal chemistry against one another. And Daniel Bryan says he actually has a secret to defeat the Fiend, and I don't think it's the red light, because the Fiend did not use the red light against Finn Balor at SummerSlam. So I do not think it's the red light. I do think there are quite a couple things you can do with this match, but I mean, there's really no other way to say this. It's got to be the Fiend. It makes the most logical sense to me. From a booking perspective, you have a guy like the Fiend who is one of your stronger characters and one of your better characters. You make sure the Fiend does everything he can in his power to win this match. And if he doesn't, then there's a problem on WWE's end, in that aspect. But I'm going to go with the Fiend. Moving on to the Women's Rumble. Now here we get to the first of two Royal Rumble matches. And this one to me is a little bit more interesting than the men's, because we only know 9 competitors. The 5 you see on screen: Carmella, Dana Brooke, Sonya, and Mandy. That's it. And so it's amazing to me there's still 21 spots left in the Women's Rumble. And the lady that is front and center is the one that I think is the favorite to win. I do not want Charlotte to win, but there's a good possibility that Charlotte wins. I think there's 4 candidates and a dark horse. I'm going to explain to you. Charlotte, Sasha, and then the two that I think are the most viable and the two that I think should win, Shayna and Ronda. The reason for Charlotte winning, you'd have Charlotte versus Becky reunite a feud, but I think the fans are sick and tired of seeing that. A reason you could have Sasha win is because Sasha could win, go on to WrestleMania, and face Bayley. And that would kind of reunite their feud, and I think that would be the perfect platform to kind of get Sasha Banks over and to kind of let her take that next step. Although you don't really need the Rumble to elevate somebody like Sasha because Sasha has already been on that big stage. But I think out of the four, Sasha is the least favorite. And then you've got the two people that I think have the best chance of winning. Two that have not been announced. Shayna Baszler, who impressed me at Survivor Series and has steady been impressing me. You could do a story where Shayna Baszler wins the match, goes on to WrestleMania to face Becky Lynch. And I think, to me, that is a match that most people would want to see. I can't speak for everybody, but most people would want to see that. Then you've got the baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, who we have not seen since WrestleMania, and a lot of people expect her to make a return. I expect her to be back at number 30. She's got history with Charlotte. She's got history with Becky. They all main evented WrestleMania last year. And, WWE could promise her, hey, you come back, you could win the Rumble and main event. I think it could be any one of those four. And then I have a dark horse, which is Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss is not talked about. But Alexa could win the Rumble as well because of, just reasons. She hasn't been a champion in a while, and she could easily win the championship. And then you've got, some people have been talking about Mandy because of everything with Mandy and Otis. I don't see that. But, I do see Rhea Ripley showing up in this match. I do see maybe a couple legends like a Molly Holly or a Jacqueline. I see Xia Li. Maybe you got Catanzaro that could show up again like she did last year. I heard Nia Jax is supposed to be back in this match. Nia Jax will be making a return. Naomi's supposed to be back. So you got quite a couple names that you could really, really throw out there. The pick, to me, who would I pick? I think the most logical pick to me would be Charlotte Flair. But I don't want to go that route. My head says Charlotte. But my mind says Ronda. As much as I would want Shayna Baszler to win, I think the smartest bet for me to go with would be Ronda Rousey. And I don't really want to see Ronda Rousey win it either. I don't really know what I want as a fan. I guess that's a typical fan. But I don't know, because I feel like if Charlotte Flair wins, it would piss a lot of people off. I'm more clear on who I want to win on the men's side than I am the women's side, because the women have a lot of great options and a lot of great people that you could potentially have win this match. And I've struggled between those four. I've struggled between Charlotte, Sasha, Shayna, and Ronda, because all four of them make sense. Those, to me, are the four candidates that make the most sense to win this Rumble match. I cannot think of anybody else, that would make perfect sense to me, and unless otherwise known, it's going to be one of those four women that end up winning the Rumble. And I don't feel like it's going to be Sasha, because they're not going to do that thing with her and Bayley yet. Although it would be a good spot for them to do it at WrestleMania, I don't see them having the platform at WrestleMania for them to do it. However, with that being said, this is the WWE. They like to be unpredictable. And Charlotte Flair would be the most predictable. She has yet to win a Rumble. I'm telling you, if she comes out from the number 3 spot, she's winning the Rumble. Because they want her to mock everything that her father did. Everything. That being said, however, the person I'm going to go with is Ronda Rousey. I feel like she is the best fit, and I feel like it's going to be a surprise. But do not be surprised if Shayna wins either. Things are more clear to me on the men's side of the Rumble, however. Brock Lesnar, we know, is the first entrant, which is going to be an interesting dynamic to me, the fact that Brock Lesnar is coming out number 1. We know 27 of the entrants. That's the crazy thing about it. We know 27 entrants. And if I'm not mistaken, Cain Velasquez is supposed to be in it. So that leaves 2 surprise entrants. Unless somebody gets attacked or something, I'm really thinking that Matt Riddle and Keith Lee is going to be in the match. But I've been told there's going to be no NXT guys. So somebody's going to be attacked and take somebody else's spot. I'd like to see Keith Lee in the match. I really, really would. I'd love to see Keith Lee. I'd love to see Edge make a return. Hell, I'd love to see CM Punk come back. But those first 2 are more likely to happen than Punk. I really do not see Punk coming back. To me, the man that I really want to see win the men's Rumble match is Drew McIntyre. You know, if people say Keith Lee, but I really want to see Drew McIntyre win. He's been on a warpath. You know, he's a Scottish psychopath. I feel like he's done what he has done. You know, it's just, he's been doing absolutely incredible things, you know, and I really think that Drew McIntyre is the guy that I should pick. Although, you know, people are going to say Roman is a guy in that category, which Roman's already been on that stage before. He's won the Rumble. A couple of surprises, though, that I think is going to be in the match. I think a Keith Lee could be in it. Matt Riddle could potentially be in it. I've been seeing signs of MVP. John Cena I've been seeing. You know, Undertaker, I was recently told was in Houston, but I think he lives in Houston, which makes sense. I've been seeing Booker T. I've been seeing Edge. I've been seeing CM Punk. So who knows who it's going to be? I've also been seeing Cain Velasquez, which I think is kind of a lock. And I also thought that Cain was supposed to be in the match. Meaning if he's in the match, that leaves 1 surprise entrant. And to be honest, if any one of those guys shows up, I'll be happy. You know, I'm a very reasonable guy. I'd like to see Edge come back. And I'd like to see Punk, you know, I would, but you know, if we get to see Booker or we get to see Taker or Cena, you know, I feel like Cena's kind of a safe bet where he'll be in the match, but I don't see Brock winning. I don't see Brock going the whole hour or wanting to work the whole hour or however long the match is. I don't really see him winning. I know he's front and center. I don't see Braun winning. It wouldn't make that much sense to me. Orton doesn't really make sense. Corbin, you could kind of say, but that would piss a lot of people off. Rollins is a dark horse. He could win, you know, and it would make sense. Bobby Lashley and Rusev could win. I mean, one of those guys, they're trying to progress that feud unless they give the title to somebody else. That would not make sense. You know, it's not going to be Mysterio or Ziggler. It could be Ricochet. Ricochet's a dark horse to me. He got attacked by Brock Lesnar on Monday night. You know, it could be very, very interesting how they go about booking this. So, I mean, anything could happen in the WWE. I don't see it being Brock. Like I said, you know, my pick is Drew McIntyre. That's the guy that I've stuck with since the Rumble has started, since everything. I feel like it's going to be Drew, you know, but WWE's probably not going to go that route. They're probably going to go Roman. I did see a spoiler, though, to where it looks like the 2 winners are going to be Charlotte and Drew. And if that's the case, I'm going to be very happy with the men's and disappointed with the women's. But hey, can't please everybody, you know. But yes, as far as when Lesnar gets eliminated and who eliminates him, I think Cain Velasquez is a good pick to eliminate him, and then them set him up Roman. You know, you could also have Roman eliminate Lesnar. Hell, if you want shits and giggles, you could have R-Truth eliminate him, which would be funny if he gets a 24/7 title from Mojo and then ends up getting pinned in the Rumble match for the 24/7 championship. You could have John Cena eliminate him. If John Cena is a surprise entry, you could have Cena come in, chuck him over the top, and then Cena's got a capacity and a role to play at WrestleMania. You could book that match, Brock versus Cena. You could have Punk come back and eliminate Brock, and then you could build Punk versus Brock. I mean, you've got so many alternatives that you could use, but I don't know. I feel like a Raw guy would win, and I just feel like Drew would win, but then you'd have him either face the Fiend or Brock, and I feel like that's a lose-lose situation for him regardless, but I feel like he's got a better chance against Brock. Then you've got like an AJ Styles and a whole bunch of other guys that you could have win. And, you know, there's only, you know, really Roman and Drew
and then maybe Keith Lee. But my pick is Drew McIntyre. I feel like he's going to be the guy to win. Hope you guys enjoyed my Royal Rumble predictions. Let me know what you guys have down in the comment section. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace. I'm out.